Once a month, introduction of really powerful people in our movement and powerful leaders. We, of course, invite one of our young adults to come up, and Brian, of course, is our token young adult person. No, he's not token at all. He's a brilliant young man, and so he's going to talk to you today. Would you please welcome to the platform Mr. Brian Akers.
The thing about being a young adult, it's hard to look dressed up and dressed down at the same time. And they're doing a pretty good job today, though. As I speak, there are, dare I say, hordes of teenagers gathering in absolute glee for this mass exodus to their annual youth retreat. Yeah, that you guys help support every year, so give yourselves a little hand on that. A lot of young lives are touched by that retreat every year. In about 30 days, there's going to be a huge group of young adults who are going to be making a similar exodus to a similar retreat that has been designed for them. As we speak, people are still recovering, recuperating, and returning from the ICSL retreat. And as all of these things have been contemplated, because I'm part of the organizing committee that helps plan the young adult retreat that's going to be happening in September, I've been thinking a lot about the word retreat. Because there's so many different positions from which to experience that word. See, the retreats that I'm talking about are these retreats where you find yourself, we kind of think of it as like kind of getting away for a while, right? Like a retreat, like a sabbatical, like a get out, take you from your life and put you over here for a little bit so that this can kind of simmer and you can do your thing. But the other part of retreat is something that I've experienced a lot in my life lately, which is a returning to the self. See, when I first started to contemplate the concept of retreat, the immediate feeling that arose within me was failure. Like marching out onto the battlefield and finding that you didn't have the resources or the tactics or the technical know-how to win the battle, and so you had to run away. And so when I was experiencing my life's retreat at that moment, what I was experiencing was this sense of failure and a sense of fear. It was overwhelming. It was absolutely all-consuming. I found myself spending a lot of my time not doing anything but thinking about the fact that I had to retreat. And then the blessing came. And the day came when I found myself that I had retreated so far from the field that was my life that there was nothing left there but me. That I had returned within so deeply that in every direction all that could be seen was me. And while from the position of failure that I had taken in the beginning was strong and had driven me to this place, it was the sense of peace in realizing that I was okay that returned me to the truth of that experience. See, I had thrusted myself out into my life in such a way that I had distanced myself from home, so to speak. At the time I really didn't have a home, which I do now. So far that all that I began to see was that which was outside of me, was the world around me, this scary, new, unknown, undescribable place that I had never been before. And so I was so focused on that I had forgot that I had taken myself on the journey. And so as I began to retreat, what I truly began to do was to return home to the understanding that throughout that experience that I was present. That throughout that experience that the me that was living that life that was so scary. And so what I began to do was to transform the sense of failure and to begin to understand the beauty of the journey that from which I had just returned. And so I began to understand that a retreat is not a failure. See, this is the ebb and the flow of the individualized soul, is to reach out into life and experience, and then to draw back into self, and to learn and to understand and to contemplate the truth of what's been happening in your life. So when you find yourself retreating, when you find yourself overwhelmed, when you find yourself having to sound the horn and get out of there, keep in mind that where you're going is back to the heart. It's back to that place within you that needs to be reminded that you're still there. Because you're always there. And Spirit is right there with you. Thank you.